Hello, I'm Mr. Polk and welcome to my kitchen. What I'd like to do today is show you how to actually make borders. So we already made icing, we know how to fill up our bag and put our correct tip in, we're good there. Now we're ready to actually start to practice decorating. The way that we usually start practicing is we use a template. These are templates that I made myself. These are on canvas, you can print them out. I put the template down and then a piece of parchment or wax paper or something over top so that you can keep using the same template over and over, and while you're practicing you can just scrape the practice icing out, put it in a small container and keep going. Now one thing I like to do is a cake doesn't move and the paper does, and that makes it very difficult for a beginner and anybody really. So I like to put a little bit of icing in the corners and that holds the paper down. Okay, I know it looks silly, but it now keeps the paper from moving around, and if you really don't want it to go anywhere, you can do all four corners. Now we're ready to start. So the templates that I made for you have, this is a shell border, this is your base border. It has a couple different things. It has pictures of actual borders that I made. It has lines with marks in it to help you space, and then it just has straight lines. You're going to take your bag, all right, and you're going to twist it and put it into the palm of your hand. And this is like I talked about in class. I said I don't know who's teaching how to ice like a fire hose like this, but that's not what we do. You want to hold it in your hand. And then you don't want to hold it with two hands either. If anything, I use this hand as a guide, but I don't want you to get in the habit of two hands. And you can do this either standing or sitting. And what you want to do is hold your bag at about 45 degrees and squeeze a little bit and then start pulling. The first border I'll show you is a start and stop border. And then you start at the tail and then you squeeze and you pull. And there's not really much more I can show you, except if you watch, when I squeeze and pull, I stop squeezing. So I squeeze, I let it build up and pull. But make sure you're letting it squeeze, fill up, and pull. Okay? Don't get caught in the what I like to call the snail. People like overlap them like this and go back over top, and it's like they're a snail. Okay? Now, what you can do if you want, you can squeeze and pull, and sometimes people don't stop. Okay? But when I do that, notice I'm not snailing, I'm filling up. All right, what I would have you start with though is just practice the squeeze and the pull, and that's where you can use this. You want to squeeze and pull until you get the borders the way you want them. Okay. So this is one of these things where you can stop the video, you can play it again, and you can watch. This is where if you are able to make some icing or get some icing at home and practice, you can send me pictures and I can look at them and I can give you some feedback, and that's what I would love to do. The one thing I do miss is with this unit I was always able to watch. We did this all one-on-one, kind of like the knife skills lab. But again, it's about the squeeze and the pull, and it's just about metering it and making it look good. The second border I'd like to show you today, and I'll just move these out of the way. And here's where for practice you could scrape these off and put them back in your bag. The second one I would like to show you is the bead border. If you learn the shell, you can do the bead, okay? It's like dodgeball. You dodge a wrench, you dodge a ball. If you do one, you can do the other. So what we're going to do is put our paper back down, okay, on our border, and it's the exact same thing, but this time, instead of using the number 21 tip, we're going to use a number 12. And for this, you're just going to start and stop again, 45 degrees, squeeze till it looks like a ball, and then do it again. All right, I use this on a lot of cakes. It looks a little cleaner sometimes than a shell border, but you just sort of squeeze and pull. And I know I'm making these look easy. I've been doing these for a long time, okay? But the only way to practice is just to do it. The only way to get good is to keep going. And that's why, like I said, the nice thing is that this is a video, so you can stop it and start it, and you can just keep watching it over and over. What a lot of people notice is they start to watch the motion, okay, where I'm really just sort of filling it up and then pulling, and that's what makes for the nice bead, okay? It's that tail. And then once you get good, you can do it without starting and stopping. So what I would have you do is I would like you to practice these two borders. These two borders are a great beginning border. You can make really nice cakes with just these two borders. The other thing I can show you too is you can use the homemade bag that we have or a Ziploc bag, and you can do the same thing. Now the shapes don't necessarily always look the same because of the tip, all right, but that is what's going to kind of make it look nice as well. So this one here, rather than having a round shape, that's the problem when you cut a bag, because you cut it square across. It has a little bit of a shape to it, but it looks great. If that was on a cake, you could do a nice job. And you could also play around with trying to cut it a little nicer. You can also use the Ziploc bag and all of that. So my challenge to you is to try and do some borders. Again, I know this was quick, but you can just keep, go through the video once or twice so you can see the technique, and you have to just try it. So thanks for visiting with me today, and I hope to see you real soon right here in Mr. Polk's Kitchen.